Hey guys, Big Square. Let's talk silver. Let's talk bare bones silver. I'm reading today how the powers that be want to spend $100 trillion on the Green New Deal. Um, some things of that suggestion would mean three times as much solar power in 8 years, 10 times as much in 2050. Currently, solar power is consuming about 120, 130 million ounces a year. So three times that would be an extra 360 million ounces. 360 million ounces at a time when they can't even find silver to make the silver eagle coins. And then you throw on top of that, they want to go from 5% electric cars, which we have right now, to 60% electric cars, and that's about 1.5 ounces of silver per car. And that goes up. The more electronic components you add to a electric car, the higher the amount of silver goes into it. That's not even feasible, truthfully. What are they going to do? Use every single ounce of silver to make electric cars? And then what are they going to do is about solar panels. So this is a fraud. The price you see in front of you is a complete fraud. And we've told you who does it and why they do it. And now the banks are caught short, the whole gamut. They have a computer program that can set the price anywhere they want. Fine. It's not going to change the reality that they're not going to get their Green New Deal. They're not going to save the planet. They're not going to have everybody driving electric cars because there's just no silver for that. It's that simple. I remember Bank of America. Remember that bank that was about to go short silver, lease silver from JPM Morgan, 1 billion ounces of silver, completely illegal. If they're going to go after the Hunt brothers for 100 million ounces, why didn't they go after JP Morgan or Bank of America for 1 billion ounces? But here's an article from August, right before they started to put on their silver short positions, their leased silver positions. Biden's green stimulus would send silver soaring over $50, so says Bank of America. Are you kidding me? CFTC, can you not see a fraud when it's like shoved right in your face? And then after that came out, they went on to short silver, and today we stand at less than we're at about 41% of that number from BofA. So they say this to the world. Hey, silver's going to $50. And then they short the crap out of it in a long-term plan to lease silver to keep the price down. And now it's down $20. Why is that not illegal? It's insane. And here is the sustainability. This came out on June 2nd of 2001. The $100 trillion investment opportunity in climate's transformation. The whole thing about oil and gas and the Green New Deal is a farce. It's the entire thing is a farce. And I would love it. I would absolutely love it if you could put $1 trillion into buying silver. Good luck finding it. The U.S. Mint can't find it. How is anybody going to find it? The U.S. Mint has no cap on how much they pay for a blank silver planchette. No cap. So all these people saying, oh, the U.S. Mint can't buy the blanks because other people are bidding higher. That is wrong. The U.S. Mint is required to buy silver enough to meet demand, no matter what they pay. And if the silver blanks don't match the COMEX, which is a 1,000-ounce bar versus a 1-ounce coin, they shouldn't match. So I don't care what the manufacturers are getting for their coins. U.S. government should be the number one buyer of all 1-ounce blanks. That is the law. But the U.S. government doesn't follow the law. So why should we follow the law? If your government's not going to follow the law, why should we follow the law? Getting more and more to that point where laws don't matter. Take care of yourself. Me and Jeff Berwick, we're going to hang out down in wherever he's hanging out. This is the official supply and demand for silver. This is a hell of a lot closer than they do for gold. But this is from the Silver Institute. You can see right here. The demand of electrical, they break out the photovoltaics. That's the solar power. It has gone from 55 million ounces in 2012 to 127 million ounces, and they want to go 3 times that in the next 8 years. 3 times that. Where are you going to get the silver? Where are you going to get the silver? Nobody knows. Nobody knows where you're going to get 360 million ounces of silver above and beyond what they're doing right now. And cars, forget about it. From 5% to 60%. But that's a 12x move. And right now in auto, I think for electric cars, it's about 40 million ounces. So another 400 million, 480 million ounces. It's just not there, my friends. I don't believe anything the Silver Institute says, but this is what we got to work off. Because look at the net investment of the ETPs, the exchange traded products. That's like SLV. It's all ridiculous. Minus 71. It's just ridiculous. They make this shit up out of their ass, and they claim to be an upstanding institute. That's why First Majestic backed out of these guys. They were like one of the big funders of this entire institute. And they said, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. You have no clue. Or you're working for the banks. I think they just don't have any clue. They basically published the same numbers from the same people for the past 50 years. They have no idea what's going on. Here's something interesting. Florida Light and Power has plans to eliminate carbon emissions by 2045. So this is actually happening. It's not just AOC spouting off. Florida Light and Power is going to change everything about how this is the largest Florida power producer. They're going to go, let's see. The plan, while phased in over 2 decades, would represent a huge change in the way FLP does business. In 2021, natural gas made up 67% of the fuel mix for generation. Nuclear was the next highest with 20%, while solar was at 4%, according to information presented during the investor conference. In 2045, a combination of solar, battery storage, and green hydrogen would make up 83% of production. Good luck with that. Is that the end of it? Good luck with that. So they're going to go from 4% to 83%. Do you see? Is there what else do we need to know about silver? A silver jump. It's the moment silver stops being rigged on the COMEX. The moment these criminals shut their business down is the moment that silver gets freely traded and the fair market value of silver $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 an ounce. To me, it's just amazing that these people who are trying to plan out the future for green energy aren't taking into account silver. It's shocking. Here's a real cool slide from the First Majestic. This is their pitch book, I think. As we go green, we require more silver. It looks at all the demand for silver. This was made before all these, okay, we're going all in on the green stuff. This is just normal projections going to, for cars, 80 million ounces by 2025. If you add this new thing, it's like, you got to go 12x. You got to go from 40 to whatever that is, 500 million ounces. It's just not going to happen. And look at all the components that need silver in these new electric cars. It's like every single part of it, which is great. I think it's fabulous. I think the only thing holding silver back are the banks and the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury, because they have to preserve the value of their unbacked fiat money con. And silver's a bank killer. It is absolutely a bank killer. Some facts: more than 2 million electric cars are currently on the road in the United States. Someone said, when they turn their cars in and they get crushed, you're going to get all that silver back. Well, the reality is the amount of silver recoverable, because they use it in such tiny pieces, is not that much. Maybe 10%, maybe, but it's so costly. Why would you do it? If it costs you $100 to get an ounce of silver out of an electric car, and after you melt everything down, it doesn't make sense. At 20, it would make sense at $100 silver or $200 or $500 silver. There are currently over 6.8 million plug-in and electric vehicles, 20% of passenger cars are bought were electric in 2021. Only 1% of automobiles on the roads are electric, and they want to go to 60%. By the end of 22, there could be 100 different electronic automobile make models to select from in the U.S. So this is all going to change. In 2018, almost 330,000 electric vehicles were sold. I don't know what we are now. That's a lot more than that, obviously. Percent of Americans who drive electric hybrid vehicles is only 7%. I mean, to get to 60%, it's going to, I mean, that's a 500 million ounces of silver. Good luck with that. When the U.S. Mint can't even make 1 extra ounce because they can't get the silver. It's crazy. Silver consumption in the global automotive sector to approach 90 million by 2025. See, all these things, the solar and the cars are the solution to all these green people. There is a side of me that says they're doing this all on purpose so that when silver spikes, they can blame it, not the price manipulation, price suppression, but the Green New Deal. Oh, it's the Green New Deal's fault. That's why silver's gone up to $1,000, $2,000, $5,000. And we have to keep that price down because of the economy. So we're gonna set the price of silver. I want to see them try to do that. Problem with trying to set prices is black market instantly appears. Kind of like right now, there's a black market in silver coins. You can't get silver coins for $21 like the powers that be tell you is the price of silver. So it's going to get ugly out there, so just hang on. If you have silver, congratulations. If you want more, call Andy Scheckman, Andy@milesfranklin.com. One more thing, if you have silver, let's listen to why Warren Buffett bought silver in 1997. This is from one of their annual meetings. Check out what he has to say.
But we think that gap is wide enough so that it will continue to deplete inventories, bullion inventories, to the point where a new price is needed to establish equilibrium. And because of the byproduct nature, which makes the supply inelastic, and because the nature of demand, which is relatively inelastic, that we don't think that price change would necessarily be minor. It's interesting because silver has been artificially influenced for a long time. You saw that movie about, it was William Jennings Bryan, who was editor of the Omaha World Herald and a congressman from Nebraska, and whose brother was governor of Nebraska, who was the big silver man. And they used to talk 16 to 1. The 16 to 1 ratio, I think, goes back to Isaac Newton when he was master of the mint. Charlie will know all about that because he's our Newtonian expert here. But that ratio had kind of mystical significance for a while. It didn't really mean anything. And in 1934, the government passed an act called the Silver Purchase Act of, surprisingly, 1934, which set an artificially high price for silver at that time, when production and usage was much less. And the government, U.S. government, ended up accumulating 2 billion ounces of silver. Now, this was at a time when demand was a couple 100 million ounces a year, so you're talking 10 years supply. So there was an artificially high price for a while. By the early 1960s, that became an artificially low price of $1.29. And at that time, I could see the inventories of the U.S. government being depleted, somewhat akin to what inventories are being depleted now. And despite the fact that Lyndon Johnson and the administration said they would not demonetize silver, they did demonetize it, and silver went up substantially. That was the last purchase we had of silver, but I've kept track of the figures ever since. The Hunt brothers caused a great amount of silver to be converted into bullion form, including a lot of silver coins. So they, again, increased the supply in a very big way by their action and pushing the price way up to the point where people started melting it down. So you had this dislocations in silver over a 60-plus year period, which has caused the price to be affected by these huge inventory accumulations and reductions. And we think right now that we thought last summer when we started buying it that the price we bought it, that was not an equilibrium price, and that sooner or later. And we didn't think it was imminent because we don't wait till things are imminent. We were going to buy a lot of silver. We didn't want to buy so much as to really disrupt the market, however. We had no intention of replaying any hunt scenario. So we wanted to be sure we didn't buy that much silver.
I would have to say he didn't. He bought 130 million ounces, about the same amount of physical as the Hunt brothers. This time it's 1 billion ounces, but he's done it through derivatives. He is taking possession of the JP Morgan / Bank of America silver. Bravo, Mr. Buffett. I think he's doing it to save America and destroy the banking cabal. That he hates banks. Don't get me wrong. There is nothing more in the world that he hates more than banks. And he knows that silver, he knows the meaning of gold. Read his biography. Warren Buffett idolized his father screaming in Congress to get gold put back into the monetary system. Warren Buffett is 90-something years old and is fulfilling his father's lifelong dream to save the United States of America from monetary hell that we've been living in for so long. That's what's happening in the Road to Ruta analysis. When did these Bank of America leases start going in place? About 2 years ago. When did Buffett start investing in Bank of America? About 2 years ago. These are structured silver notes, and they're paid with physical silver delivery to Warren Buffett himself. And if you don't believe me, that's fine, but then tell me, where's this leased silver going? If it's not going into Warren Buffett's hands, it's clearly not going into the market. There's no extra physical silver lying around. And at 1 billion ounces, it should be all over that place. You should see silver coming out, oozing out everybody's pant pockets as they're walking down the street. But you don't. You see every manufacturer saying, oh my God, I can't get enough silver blanks to make coins. And that's where we are. You want more on this, go to roadtoruta.com on the private road. A whole bunch of Jenny readings there about Buffett. Go check it out. My favorite one is this one, Discovering the Good Guys, the secret third party of the JP Morgan BofA silver lease. And then we go down, and we are literally on the tails of this emerging story. You're going to hear about it in September, October, November. Just like when Buffett and his buddy, I forgot his name. Anyway, it'll come to me. Went out and bought silver, like he said, the summer before. Actually, I think he talks a little more. Let's see what
but we liked it.
Buffett's buddy has to say.
Charlie?
Well, I think this whole episode will have about as much impact on Berkshire Hathaway's future as Warren's bridge playing. We've got a line of activity where once every 30 or 40 years you can do something employing 2% of assets. This is not a big deal for Berkshire.
Okay, let's think about 2% of Berkshire Hathaway's assets. Back then, it was $5 billion. Let's look at. We can look at the market cap of Berkshire. I don't think that would be assets though. It's a lot more now, let me tell you. March 22, 100 billion. Berkshire has total assets for the quarter were make that 900 billion, almost $1 trillion in assets. 2% of $1 trillion is 20 billion. $20 billion if he did 2% again, holy shit. How many at $20 an ounce? That's voila. 20 billion. That's 1 billion ounces of silver. It all adds up. Everything you go down this path, it adds up. If they put 2% of their $1 trillion in assets into silver, like they did in 1979, at that point in time, 2% is 20 billion. And at silver at $20, well, right around there, You're looking at the exact number. It all fits. That's how research is done in a strange way. I can go back and say, okay, when was it put on? How much was silver at this time? And find out the exact number. I don't think he did a deal with the full billion. I'm thinking more like 900 million ounces. Still, it would be the largest in history. And at some point, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger are going to come out and say, yeah, we did it again. You know, we were seeing the same thing. There's no physical silver, and the price was low. So that's where we are on the road to Ruta. You guys want to join the road to Ruta, go to roadtoruta.com, hit subscribe today, and you get all this information. This is how we roll. This is Bix. I'll talk to you later.